universe, what is the Sankhya talks about all these involution, evolution, which is constantly happening. That apart, we are not denying that is true. That's there, right? That Samprajnana Samadhi, all of that is given there also, right?
Patanjali has a sutra for this.
Correct.
Like the Aditya,
Ashuchi,
Anatma,
Ashuchi, yeah. What is Asmita?
Like taking those
the
four as
definition
rivers.
of avidya.
Yeah, taking those four as rivers is actually the.
Correct. Correct. So that all comes under pramana, which is apart from the practice, you also have to listen and get the pramana also, pramana shastra. We talked about this yesterday. When did we talk? Study. Oh, this was so confusing. What's going on? Okay. There is Patanjali Yoga Sutra which talks about the definition of avidya, where we can somebody quote that? Anitya, Ashuchi, Anatma, Nitya, Shuchi, Atma, Khyati. That's
those four words.
I forgot the fourth one. I don't remember the sutra. But basically, the idea is, what is avidya? Avidya is the veil that is covering us. What is the veil? We ignorantly believe this body, which is, or the mind, body-mind complex, which is anitya, impermanent. Anatma, which is not, atma means like atom, right, as a whole, but it's all fragmented. It's anatma. Same thing actually. Avidya, anitya, ashuchi, we think it is pure. It's not. Meaning pure also means divine, right? And anitya, ashuchi, anatma, there is a dukkha, yeah, there is dukkha. That is, there is sorrow. All of this we think is the nitya, we think this is permanent, though we all know it's not. If I ask you, you will say, oh yeah, it's not permanent. But we behave as if it is permanent. See, you have to understand. Because you will find it, when did I think that the body is permanent? We all know body is not permanent. Everybody dies. I also die one day. We all know this. We all say this. But when I am holding on to something, when I feel terribly, when I am grieving something, why am I grieving if I know it? If I know the body is impermanent and one body falls, whoever that body is, however dear that person is, why do we grieve them? Because we live as if the world is permanent, as if the world is, this material world is the purest thing that is out there, and things like that. So that is, and there is happiness in this. We live as if there is so much happiness in this, and we go after one thing after the other, because we think that that's where we find happiness. All of this is said by Patanjali, Buddha, Shankara, everybody. So I'm not saying that that should be ignored. That part is there, but we are not discussing that here. You see, there is one sadhana aspect to it, there is one pramana aspect to it. Pramana means somebody is showing us the flashlight, saying here is the path, and that's how it looks like. There is a pointer, Lakshana Vakya. These are all Lakshana Vakyas. They point to truth. But truth is not to be believed. It's to be experienced. So that means you just take that word, keep it in the back of your head, and now you practice. So we are discussing the sadhana aspect. In here, I'm bringing some of the concepts. I hope now we are all in the same place. So whether Buddha says it, or Patanjali says it, whether it's Vipassana, or DRT, or Sahaja Marga, or whichever meditation, Ramachandra, they have that meditation where they sit and observe their breath for hours, and then after that there will be a little talk. So that both go hand in hand. There has to be a talk by the sages, that is pramana, apta vakya or pramana vakya, shabda pramana as they call it, that is the words of the wise. And same thing, any religion, take Christianity, anything, Jesus, he says certain things, Bible says certain things, and then you have a practice. You have to have both. You just listen. By the way, you can also listen constantly. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana also will take. Then you live the thought. That is also possible, by the way. You don't have to necessarily practice on the mat, but you still have some ritual. Every day morning sitting and listening to that talk is also a ritual. Some ritual has to be there, which is the sadhana aspect, and some shravana has to be there, that is the listening aspect. Is that okay? Got it?
What's the opposite of Lakshana Vakya? Lakshya Vakya. Lakshana Vakya.
Lakshana Vakya.
What is Lakshana Vakya?
Opposite of a...
I mean, Lakshana Vakya means the truth.
No. Lakshana Vakya is not truth. Lakshana Vakya means, I'm trying to say something. Let's say, in Sanskrit, there is a sentence. The umbrellas are going, let's say in a rainy thing. The carts are coming. The cars are coming. Cars are not going to come. Do the cars come on their own? Somebody is bringing the car. So if you say cars are coming, you mean very well, you know, that's only a Lakshana Vakya. But the real thing is a person is driving the car and bringing the car to this place. The cars are not coming.
It's kind of like the truth observed by the guru or whoever you're actually pointing to.
Yeah, he says, Aham Brahmasmi.
So,
I listened to it and I believe him, and am I now Brahman? And I understood, I realized I am Brahman, that's a different story. But did I understand and am I delving in that truth? Once in a while, touching the truth is different from I live the truth. Then when somebody dies, that knowledge is going to be there for you, so you don't grieve as much. If not, I mean, you won't just sit down and do nothing, but that grief is not as bad as it otherwise would be. And that fear is not as bad as otherwise it would be. So relatively, at the end of it, it's not like a binary situation where, oh, either I'm afraid or I'm not afraid. No, how badly afraid and how much of a fear you will be living, or maybe there is some fear, but then you know how to ward it off, things like that. So your wisdom plays a bigger role at that point. And I find some great place I want to go to, I cannot go, you will tell yourself it's okay. An absolute jnani will not even want to go there, that's a different story. But at the same time, it's not a boring life, guys. It's not like, I don't want to go anywhere, I'm going to sit down like a shushka vrikshavat, they say, like a dry tree. I just sit there and do nothing. No, it's a very flowery tree. It's constantly flowering and having fun. It's just not lost. We all are lost. That's the difference. Done? Okay. All right. Now that the kids are here, we'll practice asana methodology now. We'll take one asana at a time, and we'll. Is that going to record? Okay. So take up Vrikshasana. Open the manual. Let's talk about the contraindications of Vrikshasana. All manuals out. Vrikshasana, contraindications please.
Back, shoulder,
Page number?
59.
No, that is not the one, that's
69. 69.
Vrikshasana. Oh, the asana chart also is fine, but no. Bring the asana itself. Yeah. Page
69.
69.
So people with hereditary varicose veins or knee pain are advised to exercise.
Varicose veins and knee pain. These are the two main conditions. And then there is more to it. For Vrikshasana, if you made somebody stand with the hands above the head, there is a contraindication for this too. Can somebody tell us what it is?
Here,
For a long time.
Vertigo?
Somebody says it.
Balance issue.
Balance issue, yes, always, because you are standing on one leg.
Herniated disc, it says here.
Herniated disc. What's happening? There is a brachial artery here, right? You are actually
Blood is-
cutting the blood flow to some extent, so reducing the blood flow. Like that, if you go on holding like that, right? So people with poor circulation, hypertension, older adults, how do you want them to do Vrikshasana? Yeah, they can stand like that, and they should stand closer to the wall. It's good for seniors to practice Vrikshasana. Tell us why. For children and seniors, Vrikshasana is a good practice. Why?
It improves the focus.
It helps with the focus for children, for seniors, focus as well as balance.
They'll not fall.
They'll not, yeah. So the falls and gait gets better. Yeah? And
Is that mainly because the legs get strengthened?
legs get strengthened, but more importantly, the balance is not just legs. It's also they talk about all these ears and the fluid inside the ears. It's much more complex than talking about fluid inside the ears. I want to say this about the balance. Proprioception, right? Where you are and proprioception, you know what is proprioception, right?
No
Uh,
perception of
With respect to the world, with respect to the space around you, where your body is proprioception. That is not just ears. Ear is one part of it, where there is cilia in the ear, there is fluid in the ear, and it's like acts like those compass, right? Those construction workers have this little bubble there, and they try and see that it's like that. Basically, there is fluid. So God is smart. He has put some fluid. Oh, there is fluid anyway there. Let's use it for balance also. So you will know, and there are both sides, and it's beautiful, right? It knows that if it goes like that, the compass, they have this interesting balance thing that happens with the hair, cilia. Inside that, it detects where you are, and when that change happens, it tells the brain. So, but the brain works in a very interesting manner. It's not just that, there is also probably some nerves that are also giving sensations. So something somewhere can go wrong. Not always just fluid inside the ear or the calcification inside the ear. They say usually it's the calcification that disturbs them. It can also be that some nerves getting messed up, right? For example, when I get stressed out, I get vertigo. What happens to the calcium inside the ear? It just came and it just went away when the stress went away? It's not true. Calcium is calcium, it's there, it's all calcified sitting there. But so if you have some calcification there, you probably get adjusted, you know how to work around, but when you are stressed out, your nervous system probably gets disturbed more than anything else. That is what we are talking here. And with yoga, can this be corrected? Absolutely. I would even think that the calcification itself can slowly start getting reabsorbed. What it does, I don't know. Because I used to get vertigo like 10 years ago, almost every month at least once, one day at least. I didn't have good sleep, next day I have vertigo. But now I'm not that bad. So I guess it's just constant practice will help you with the proprioception. I have no idea. So Vrikshasana of all of them is much better than better for people who have vertigo. They will learn to balance. If they cannot do a whole lot of other practices because now they have vertigo, Vrikshasana helps them. Okay. And then, does it say prevent flat foot somewhere?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it prevents flat foot.
What if you already have?
Then don't do Vrikshasana like I have. I'm suffering, so yeah. Don't do Vrikshasana, but slowly you can build. Work towards that slowly.
Well, I don't know much about flat footness, but is it a condition that develops or it's your born?
No, it's a condition that can develop also. You are prone to flat foot, especially if you have this pronation, right?
I see.
Then that's what happened to me, and I didn't know for a long time, and I didn't know until the pain really got worse. I had no idea why the pain was happening, so I was walking barefoot, all in spite of the pain. Now it has got to the point, then I went to a podiatrist. Until that point, I did not know what's going on. So this curvature falls right here, and the bunion develops here. And when that happens, so what happens with the Vrikshasana is, when you stand like that, you are actually pressing the front toe. So please come up. So when you stand, you want to press the big toe down slightly and pick up the arches. Okay?
So you're
Now-
pulling the toe inward. Kind of.
Slightly, everything is done very little. So don't overdo anything. Just a little awareness to the big toe, and that will pull the arch up. Do you feel that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you just let go, it's flat. Just a very slight, very slight. That's all you're doing. So now you stand on one leg with that kind of a position. So now you will see, so your arch has to be nice. I'm not going to practice for too long. Maybe I'll practice on this. Yeah, you feel that? You just press that front toe just a bit and pick up the arch. Yeah. There is a perfect demo. So that arch is just, she's lifting the arch just slightly. And practice on the other side also, please. And the root nicely down, but also lift your whole body up. That's the reason for taking the arms up. Lift the body, lift the entire body up like somebody is pulling up with your, a string, like you're being pulled up. Not, you see that? Lift up, engage the core. And don't do to the extent where you cannot breathe, okay? You have to be breathing Ujjayi through that whole practice. Ground nicely, lift the rest of the body up. And keep your eyes open, gaze at a point in front of you, and gently stop. And the key practice, which is more important here? Lifting the leg all the way up, or
Balancing on one leg.
fixing the gaze at this point. What is more important?
Fixing the gaze.
Fixing the gaze. That's why when you start seeing all these people falling down and doing all these things, you just have to say, come down. Let all of us just do this first. And then start the timer for 1 minute. Let them all stand, lifted up, with toe down, toe nicely on the ground, so that they don't really lose balance. And just observe their eyes. I go around in the kids' class saying, I'm just watching your eye. That's it. Each one of you, I'm watching your eyes. Anybody blinks or slow blinking is fine, not too much, just the gaze, and have your children practice this every day. 1 minute, start with 1 minute, go up to 5 minutes. You will see that within a year's time, their whole intelligence factor, their grades, everything will go up. Their grades simply go up. They are already intelligent. It's nothing. Just that they are distracted so much. Just give them up to 5 minutes of this for every child in the Bay Area, especially in the US, especially. Nowadays, everywhere. Nowadays, everywhere.
Actually, can I add to that?
Yeah.
Vrikshasana and Shashankasana, like how they add protein brushing and doing the other things. 1 minute meditation. These three helps a lot for the kids.
Perfect. Beautiful.
Which one? Vrikshasana, Shashankasana, at least 1 minute meditation or breathing practice.
Brahmari. Shashankasana means Brahmari. For ADHD, we give Shashankasana Brahmari, Ganesha, and Vrikshasana.
Usually when they have a project or some presentations at school, they feel very stressed, right? So that time it helped them out.
Thank you. Yeah. So, anything else about Vrikshasana? Any questions?
So as far as we are able to balance like quickly, there's no problem with the balance, and there are days when we cannot balance at all. Is it something going in the mind and the body?
There's something going on. Maybe you're stressed out. Maybe you're affected with the proprioception because of the stress, because of lack of sleep, and definitely thoughts and distractions. It's even standing on one leg and the other toe in such cases will help you get there. Yeah. Any other Vrikshasana questions? Can we move on? Next one. Ardha Chakrasana. Can we all practice Ardha Chakrasana? Anybody wants to give instructions following that? Follow the script, please, and then one person gives the instructions. First the contraindications, then benefits, and then we'll go practice. Ardha Chakrasana, not Ardha Kati Chakrasana, Ardha Chakrasana. Yeah, who wants to give the instructions now? Please come up. Yeah. Okay? You're giving the instructions.
You're giving instructions.
She is pointing to you, you are pointing to her.
That's fine.
Both are equally mindful.
No, I wanted to try and she already stood. So
Oh, then she'll be.
I'm just looking. You want me to give instruction? What do you want? I can.
You want to? You want to? Anybody? Please get up, please. What's going on here?
Yeah, Kalpana.
Santosh?
yeah,
But,
Yeah, okay. Santosh wants to give. So let him do it.
stand in Sthiti Tadasana. Keep your hands on the back, on the pelvis, your palms facing downwards. As you inhale, stretch your shoulders and bring your elbows close together. Tighten your buttocks slightly and push your pelvis forward and lean back. Your head remains, should not hyperextend. Lean back as far as you can, pushing your pelvis forward. straighten your back. And relax and sit like Tadasana. I didn't give the contraindications. Completely forgot.
As you exhale or as you inhale, coming back.
So yeah, I always get confused with, I think it's inhale or
It's okay,
inhale.
yeah, inhale, but when it's not very critical, if you have said exhale and you have asked people to come back, let it be graceful about it.
Instruction also say exhale.
Really does.
Yeah. So you're inhaling and then you're probably holding there or.
No, breathing normally.
Okay.
I had a question about that. Once you inhale, you should breathe normally there.
Normally,
Yeah.
Always in the final posture, naturally.
No, in the Surya Namaskaras, we inhale and go back and then exhale and come forward, right?
Yeah, you
That's
exhale.
a sequence, but as asana, natural breathing.
as asana we should say inhale, we come back, that's fine, not a problem. Either way, it's not, there's nothing critical.
So this does not say anything about knees, right?
What do you want to do with the knees?
So you don't bend the knees, right?
No?
No. But that's just
Open up the knees, firm the buttocks.
Yeah, and then usually I think somewhere in the instructions it had like, make sure your knees are not bending. Or what did Sri Ram be talking about?
I mean, once you're in Tadasana, why would you bend your
Yeah.
So when you bend, actually, there is a tendency to bend the knees.
Yeah, but if you, that's why the pushing the pelvis forward is more
That's
important,
a
because if you don't
common
push your
mistakes,
pelvis
I think,
forward,
that
then
time
you.
only,
Yeah, take your hands back and push the pelvis forward is a good instruction. What else? Okay, please come down, we'll talk about some of the things there. So there are two aspects to it. One is the core stabilizers, right? All these stabilizer muscles, they are engaged. So you may feel a little slight vibration in the core when you practice like that. Did you feel that way?
I feel that more only when I do with my hands.
That's
raised.
fine because you are supporting here, but yeah, you are supporting here.
I don't feel it when I did it this way, so.
Yeah, you're right. You won't feel a
You
whole
need
lot.
more
But
back stretch.
so when you further stretch, this also allows you to stretch a little more. You can do that because you're supporting it. Whereas when you go like that, you're right. You pretty much hold there and here.
Over there,
You don't want to go too far back unless you are like Sri Ram. It goes all the way back.
You're changing the center of gravity, right? Because
Correct,
your
correct.
arms
So
are-
going farther back, he goes like 90 degrees.
Yeah.
That's a different. don't try that at home. So when you are supporting, this is a different. This is a asana style. You're supporting here at the back. You are opening the chest up. You are lengthening the spine, and you are bending back. So it's in fact in this case, it's okay to take the head far back also, because you are nicely taking here. In this position, we don't want you going all the way back because that puts a lot of pressure on the lower back. And what did we say there? Did we say don't take the head back? We may
Yeah.
want to change that. So one correction there. I was watching some of you do. That's why I was sitting and watching. And you took all the way back and you were okay. And even in Ushtrasana, we take the head all the way back, full Ushtrasana. And it's okay. That's not hyperextension.
Because you're supporting, you
Because
can
you're
go
supporting,
back.
correct. So the head is resting on the shoulder here. So it's not back.
Tilt your
But
neck.
whereas when you do this,
You
you
can
take all the way back,
hyperextend.
the pressure can come on the lower back because you're not supporting that. By the way, taking the head back is not as bad as we are projecting it out to be, because if you are a very adept yogi, you want to stretch all these muscles. But if you're not, which is the case in the Bay Area, many people with a lot of neck problems, we put all these instructions to be careful. So too much of hyperextension for a long time. People have messed up a lot doing Matsyasana, for example. And there was one long article in some New York Times, some big newspaper saying yoga is dangerous and you should not do, and these things can happen. And one lady went to some major neck problem and
Yeah,
things
New
like
York
that,
Times.
right?
New York
Because-
Times can-
Yeah, so if you properly practice, there is no problem with that. taking the head back is not always bad. We are talking to sadhakas here. As a teacher, you have to say all these things. But as a sadhaka, if we taught you what you are supposed to teach the students and we stayed there, you are not going to take your own practice a little more, right? So say one thing to your student, that is level 1. In level 2 case, right, you